Hi everyone, and thank you for watching. Before I start, I want to thank Kaggle and the Google team for putting on the AI Agents Intensive Vibe Coding course. For my Capstone project, I built ahead. The problem I sought to resolve was how financial stress shows up. It is rarely one big purchase. Generally, it's a few too many purchases before payday. A slow drift you only notice once the balance is already too low. By the time most budgeting apps say anything, the money is gone and the damage is done. Most budgeting apps, you just set thresholds, you give them a limit, and they ping you once you've crossed it, which is already too late. I wanted something that looks forward instead of backward, that warns you before you act, not after. So I built Ahead. Ahead is a personal financial concierge. It identifies risky spending patterns early and gives people a chance to act before money leaves their account. Over the next few minutes, I will walk you through the problem it solves, how it works under the hood, and a live demo of it in action. But before I begin, I want to note that Ahead is an educational tool designed to improve financial awareness. It is not financial, investment, legal, or tax advice, and it should not be used as the sole basis for financial decisions. Financial risk comes in two shapes. First, timing. A reasonable purchase can still push you negative if it lands right before payday. Second, the slow bleed. Small monthly deficits that quietly drain your cushion until the runway is gone. Most tools separate neither, so they miss both. Ahead answers two questions before you spend. Will this put me at risk? And can I afford it right now? And there is a third force underneath both of these. Prices do not hold still. When everyday costs like gas or groceries creep up, your runway shrinks even if your habits never change. Ahead accounts for that by pulling in live price data so the forecast reflects what things call. Ahead is built with the Google Gen AI SDK, using a multi-agent architecture based on a simple principle. No single prompt should do everything. Understanding a request, analyzing financial data, and communicating advice are different jobs. At the center is the orchestrator. Its job is to interpret the user's request and decide which read-only MCP tools to call. Those seven tools retrieve balances, transactions, recurring bills, and income. They gather forecast inputs, run a Monte Carlo simulation to model potential outcomes, and fetch live pricing. They're intentionally read-only. They can analyze financial data, but can never move money. Once the analysis is complete, the orchestrator hands everything to the coach. The coach is a separate agent whose job is purely communication. It turns the simulation results into clear, supportive guidance and is governed by a skill file, so its tone, structure, and safety rules stay consistent every time. One design decision I made was to keep data retrieval, forecasting, and pricing as tools instead of separate agents. That keeps the system faster, simpler, and easier to reason about than having agents delegate work to other agents. One thing I'm especially excited about is where Ahead goes next. The forecasting is already proactive. Every time financial data is loaded, Ahead projects future expenses, incorporates live pricing, and updates financial risk automatically. Today, though, users still open the app to receive those insights. The next step is simply changing what starts the workflow. Instead of a user prompt, an event like a new transaction or an upcoming recurring expense could trigger the exact same pipeline automatically. A charge hits your account and Ahead warns you immediately, or notices you're about due for a refuel and gas prices have increased, and your balance is tight before payday. So it reaches out before you're even at the pump. The forecasting, simulation, and coach don't change at all. Only the trigger does. That transforms Ahead from something you consult into something that watches your back. And that's exactly the direction I want to take it. Here's Ahead end to end. The dashboard shows the baseline forecast, the projected balance, cash runway, and the 14-day forecast. This is the multi-agent system at rest, with the orchestrator and coach each doing one job. The system is proactive. It scans the raw transaction logs to predict recurring events, such as when you're most likely to refuel or buy groceries, while simultaneously querying decoupled MCP live price index tools to scale travel and food spending, so the forecast models are inflation aware out of the gate. Another key feature is that I can ask a question about a future purchase that contains privacy information like a credit card number. That card number is redacted locally before anything is sent to the model. The tools are read only and never move money. The coaching style can also be switched between empathetic, strict, and analyst. It's the same underlying analysis, just a different delivery driven by agent skill files. I want to close with one reflection on this capstone and what I took away from this course. Ahead went from an idea to a deployable, calibrated product in a matter of days, not the months a project of this scope would traditionally take. That speed wasn't because the engineering was simplified, it was because this course reframed how I build, treating AI not as autocomplete, but as a structured development partner. Every part of Ahead reflects that approach. The multi-agent architecture, MCP tools, agent skills, evaluation harness, and deployment pipeline all came from principles we practiced throughout the course. Instead of coding first and fixing problems later, I planned, iterated, tested, and validated each component as I built it. For me, that's the biggest takeaway. Vibe coding isn't about replacing engineering, it's about accelerating it. When paired with structured iteration, evaluation, and good engineering discipline, it dramatically compresses the path from an idea to a production ready system.